Good morning, sir. I'm Jasmine Peniveras. Itutuloy ko lang po yung report namin ni Miss Ruby May Sodaria. Testing reading skills. Ang napuntang topic po sa akin yung number 2, reading comprehension test. This test measures the ability of the learners to derive meaning from a text, passage, selection, read. The 5 dimensions as explained in Chapter 6 are sources of the various types of tests. Items that could be constructed. Items are mostly presented in multiple choice type of test. Ang reading comprehension test is designed to measure how well you understand what you read. And what is the purpose of reading comprehension test? The purpose of the reading comprehension test is to measure ability to read a passage of written information quickly and identify relevant information from the passage. Skill testing include the following. Letter A, literal question. Reading what is directly stated in the passage. Questions whose answer are directly found in the selection. And literal question is have responses that are directly stated in the text. Why are literal questions important? Literal questions do not leave room for interpretation because being able to answer literal question is essential for understanding your learners any text, whether fiction or non-fiction. Example of literal question: who are the character in the story? What happened when the boy released the bird? What crops do What crops do they grow? Mang Ramon's farm. And last, what made Jonas cry? Letter B, interpretative questions. Reading between the lines. Items required the learners to put together the information presented in the selection to give a correct answer. Interpretative question has an answer that can be supported with evidence from the text. Sometimes people may answer differently, but the question could still be right as long as evidence supports the questions. Questions belonging to this category of comprehensions include getting the main idea or pagkuha ng main idea. Example, the question is, what does the paragraph tell about air pollution? And number 2, deriving meaning through context. After Mario answered, the teacher commented, you hit a nail on its head. What does the teachers mean? And number 3, sequencing events. Example of question: based on the details presented in the story, arrange the following events in the order in which they happen. Number 4, inferring character traits. Example of questions: based on the description of Anna, which of the following would appropriately describe her? And next, finding the main idea and supporting details. Example of question: in this set of 5 sentences, identify the main idea and determine the supporting details. And last, determine cause-effect relationship. Example of question: according to the selection, why do Filipinos have poor protection against illness? Next, letter C, applied or integrative. Reading beyond the lines. Learners are asked questions who answer the based on their ability to make connection of the information read to their life experiences and knowledge. Her children look at what the author is trying to say and the purpose behind what they written. And ang sabi po dito is ang mga learners po natin dapat is tinatanong po natin sila na ang maisasagot po nila is nakabase po sa kanilang ability or kakayahan na gumawa ng mga connection for information read to their life experiences and knowledge. Examples of skill and question are making comparisons. Example of question is using the clue words of the authors. How are Ben and John different? Number 2, drawing conclusion. Example of question from the circumstance presented in the selection. What conclusion can you make? Next is distinguishing fact and opinion. Rely on the information presented in the selection. Which of the following is a fact or an opinion? Next is making decision suggestion. Example of question: if you were the judge in the story, what would be your ruling to the case? And last, giving alternative and endings. Example of question: if you were the author, how would you end the story? And last, number 3, non-prose reading test. This group of tests use charts, maps, product labels, signs, and symbols, menus, and other materials that use minimal words to explain something. They serve as stimulus materials that serve as base for learners to answer literal, interpretative, and apply questions presented in the multiple choice format. Ang ginagamitan ng charts, map, product, labels, sign and symbols, minus at iba pang materials na gumagamit ng minimal words to explain something. Ito din po kadalasan na ginagamit po para po mas nagsisilbing pampasigla or kaya po magkakaroon po sila ng interest para sagutan ang literal, interpretative at applied question na ipinapakita po sa multiple choice format. Ayun lang po. Thank you.